Titanfall 2, it's no secret that the shooters market is a crowded market with games like Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare doing their best to get your attention, but it's easy to forget that Titanfall 2 exists. But right now we're going to pay attention to it for like 5 minutes and see if it's actually worth paying attention to.
Let's do it.
I want to do it, but I really haven't played much of the game yet, so let's call somebody who has played the game. It's Nick Limon is here! Hey! Thank you very much. Oh, also JD Militime, thank you very much for subscribing. Very close to giving away a copy of Titanfall 2. Now, the original Titanfall. Oh, and Anthrax!
Oh.
It's like you. They love Nick. Wow.
It's a podium dweller.
We did it.
Can I?
We did it.
There we go. So Nick,
Yes. Thanks, man.
you played a lot of Titanfall, right?
I played quite a bit of Titanfall.
There we go. Yeah. How much did you play?
I finished the single player and I played quite a bit of the multiplayer.
Okay, so let's go through the game right now. We broke the game down into 4 categories. Thank you, Fire Studios.
Hey.
We broke the game down. Yes. We broke the game down into 4 categories.
That is
Basically, the single player's new, the controls, the movement, stuff like that.
Lots of new stuff.
Yeah, lots of new stuff, firepower, and then we're going to kind of compare it to the other Titanfall. But let's start with the first category, which is, I forget.
Single player.
Single player, yes. Single player, the new thing in the game was not in Titanfall 1.
Yeah, the original game didn't have any single player at all, and that was kind of a weird thing at the time.
Yeah.
And there's like this whole background story about like this rebel alliance that are fighting the evil empire, very Star Warsy. But really the most important part about the story is the relationship between the Titan and the pilot inside.
Yeah. Sounds steamy.
real
Thank you, DK Sun, for the G-Dub Club love. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, great, fun. You didn't like the writing in the story? You said it was a little melodramatic?
Yeah, it's a little melodramatic, which isn't bad. It just feels like very old school mecha anime. So if you like old school Gundam,
What those words mean.
You will pretty much understand what everything is going to happen plot for plot, beat for beat. It's a very predictable story.
I don't like that you've been pigeonholed as like the key weeb here. I don't know how that happened, but I'm slowly remembering why that's the case. But it's very anime-esque. There are there's more than writing. You shoot things.
Definitely. So the biggest thing about single player is they do a really good job of introducing every mechanic that's going to be important in multiplayer.
Yeah.
So whether it be jumping around platform to platform, introducing yourself to all the different Titans you'll eventually pilot in multiplayer, things like that.
It's a very long tutorial. There's new things like puzzle elements and a lot of new mech stuff. But unfortunately, you said the AI is not good.
Yeah, the game, it's really easy. But
Okay.
The reason why is because the AI is just so bad. You will walk by enemies and they will literally just look at you, wait a few seconds, be like, oh, I should shoot this dude. And by that time, they're done.
Yeah, and also you only get 6 to 8 hours of that. So what fun!
Yeah, the game's pretty short.
It's not cinematic like Call of Duty. It's kind of
Yeah,
it's focused on the gameplay, which I'm fine with. I don't care if you need like a big field with a bunch of smoke. Like that doesn't do anything for me. So I don't miss the Call of Duty-esque gameplay. But you said it was genuinely fun. So
Yeah,
that's
it's a
good.
very good game, and again, it's perfect training if you want to get into multiplayer.
Okay, so single player. How do you feel about it?
I'm giving it a yay.
Yay! Yes. Listen, it's different from Call of Duty, and that's fine. That's
Exactly.
good. Some of the AI is a little bit easy, but you can if you like Titanfall, it's Titanfall single player. Also, a big part of Titanfall 1 was the navigation. Teacup
Oh!
Nikki, thank you. Are the controls still good?
Oh, they're very good. They're
Okay.
real good. So, like, there's a lot of games in gaming history that are very important for games. Like, this is what every game going forward will kind of be like. Half-Life 2 did it with cinematic storytelling. For Titanfall, I think it's going to do that for online multiplayer. Just the way you navigate around the environments, it's so seamless and fluid. The parkour running you're already seeing in Call of Duty, and Titanfall 2 is basically a better realization of what was introduced in the original Titanfall.
Can you still wall runs?
You can very much wall run. You can very much wall run.
I liked your Half-Life talk, but I want to know if you could do wall runs.
Yeah, and this time you can also use a grapple hook.
Ooh, I like that.
So you can be Spider-Man or Batman, whichever you prefer.
Oh, they're both hot. Okay, so cool. The maneuvering, I'm assuming, yay.
It's the best part of the game, definitely a yay.
Yay! Okay, once you get to the enemy, what do? You blow them up with whatever you have. How are the weapons, the Titans in this game?
So, the big problem a lot of people had with the original Titanfall were the burn cards.
Okay.
And the burn cards were these things that you could basically spend before you spawned. And if you died having used these cards, they're gone forever, and they give you special abilities. Now there's things like kill streaks, kind of like Call of Duty, but this time you can unlock these things called ticks, which will own in on people and blow up once they reach their target.
What is it?
They're called ticks.
Oh, ticks. Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watch out for ticks.
And then there's also the amped power-up, which lets you power up your weapons briefly,
Some
which is pretty
TNA. Great. Ticks and amps.
Definitely.
Who doesn't love that?
So
I'm a full 7. Are you full 7, Nick?
I'm definitely a full
The weapons make me a full 7.
People know I'm a full 7
Yeah.
at all times. But the biggest problem I have, though, with the game is there's a lot of item progression. And normally that's something Call of Duty originally introduced, but now every game is kind of knocking it, and it's feels to his detriment. If you're barely starting off in the game and you're going up against someone who's been playing for 8 hours, you feel like you are underpowered compared to them. So it doesn't feel fair. So the challenge is catering to the people who've been playing the longest.
Okay. My biggest problem is that the Titans suck.
Yeah.
That's what the
Titans
game's
are
about. They kind of.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, Joey doesn't like that. Are you naturally? Would you rather be a soldier or a robot? That's a cool question. Soldier or robot?
Definitely a robot. Definitely a robot.
Soldier.
What? Would you?
Whoa!
No, that's a lie.
Wrong answer. Robot. I don't.
Yeah. They're both fine in their own accord, I guess. But that's what the game is about, and they're not fun to play anymore.
Right.
So.
The game introduces a number of new Titans, and they look pretty cool. Like the design-wise, there's awesome. There's like a flamethrower dude and a dude with a giant sword. But for the most part,
Super kawaii.
very kawaii. They feel like normal people, and that shouldn't be the case. They feel as seamless as the soldiers, and that's a big problem
They're
because
not heavy anymore.
exactly they lost a lot of their heft.
But does that ruin the multiplayer experience?
No, for the most part, no, because when you are working together as a team and navigating as a team around the map and getting behind your targets, it feels really good.
Okay, so
It's
how do you feel about the overall weaponry in the game?
Overall, I'm giving it another yay.
Oh yes, the guns are cool. The guns are cool. The aiming reticle is actually really cool. It's very satisfying to get a kill, and there's a lot of cool perks and stuff. Like
Good feedback.
Like the TNA. But overall, final category is the Titanfall-ness of the game.
Yeah.
It is the sequel to Titanfall 1. But is it? Because a lot of people, that's their biggest concern, is that it does not feel like a Titanfall game. It feels like Call of Duty with mechs.
So it's kind of weird because the big creative conceit of the game is that there are these things called Titans, hence the namesake Titanfall. And so you think that they would be more alluring, more reason to play as them. And yeah, they're pretty cool, but for the most part, I can get more done as a foot soldier. I can navigate around the map easier. So for the most part, the Titans just are kind of bullet sponges.
Okay, but you still, the wall running and stuff is still cool.
Oh yeah, it's
The
great.
guns are all kind of standard fare. So like, if you can get past the Titans not feeling the same, it is kind of like, it's kind of the same thing, you know?
Exactly.
It's kind of the same thing. It's not exactly the same thing. You have single player elements and stuff like that. There's no burn cards anymore. But I think overall, it kind of feels like it. How did you feel about it?
For the overall Titanfall-ness, I am going to have to give it a nay.
Oh.
But that doesn't mean it's a bad game by any stretch of the
That
imagination.
was a genuine, you're like, it was a good face.
So just because it's not like the original Titanfall does not mean it's a bad game.
Oh,
it's
and
just different.
There's the rub, dear friend. Well, let's give it an overall rating. Let's throw the pros and cons up right now,
right,
because I think you're
sounds
getting to the ultimate point about the game, is that, sure, there is revolutionary movement, and there's a new single player that you can play that's actually pretty good. The multiplayer is Titanfall multiplayer. It's fun. You run around. There's new grappling hooks and cool perks and amps and ticks and stuff like that. But there are definite problems with it. The Titans are fucked up, which is bad for Titanfall, for the Titans not to be fun to play with. The AI is kind of messed up. A lot of the story mode that we said was great is predictable. But overall, even though it's not like Titanfall 1, is it a good game?
Yeah, it's definitely its own experience, and for the most part, it feels like Respawn Entertainment was trying to streamline the game in a way to make it more focused on keeping up the pace of combat. So it's all very fast gameplay, and for the most part, makes it a good game.
Okay.
So overall, I'm gonna have to give it a yay.
Dang! Yeah! Bam! I know people are going to be like, we have not given a bad rating on this thing, on this segment yet, but that's just because the games have been good.
They've been good.
Yeah, enjoy shit.